All right, back in a minute. This guy, Dawood, it's like Darwood without an R. Dawood Ibrahim, India's most wanted man, a fugitive gangster living in Pakistan, said to be one of the key suspects in this thing, too. That's been known for years. All right, be right back in a minute. Just a little bit on Webster's excellent points. 5 key suspect spheres. There's actually a sixth. Let me just read a little bit. There's a story out just today, in fact. I just sent it to you, Webster. Mumbai attacks likely gangland CIA ISI turf war. Let me read the first paragraph only. Millionaire Indian gangster and ex-CIA off-the-books spook Dawood Ibrahim, living in luxurious exile in Pakistan, was very angry at his old CIA buddies for their turncoat betrayal as they colluded with the Indian government, the Pakistani Secret Service ISI, and Israeli Mossad to oust him from his redoubt in Quetta, Pakistan, and extradite him to India. He was so enraged he knew he could strike a blow directly at his enemies and send them a clear message in Mumbai at the Trident Oberoi Hotel, a gathering place for foreign intel operatives, and the Orthodox Jewish Chabad House. So he financed, planned, and supplied weapons, equipment, and logistics for the multiple attacks by what now appears to be the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the LAT terrorists. Anyway, that's a story that's worth looking at because as Webster laid out, and could easily be the case, this man could be certainly a key player, and this could overlay several of the 5 that Webster laid out. I mean, this could be almost anything. This could be disinformation. I don't know, but it's a very complicated situation. Go ahead, please.
But again, we know more or less what happened. I mean, the political point is that this happened exactly when.
Correct.
The clique, this Anglo-American foreign policy establishment, inspired by the ideas of Zbigniew Brzezinski and company, with Robert Gates carrying it out, and also General Jones, the former NATO commander, anti-Russian credentials, very strong. Perfect
team player.
This entire group now they're coming into power. It's a question now of suppressing the opposition inside India to the U.S.-India nuclear accord, and setting Pakistan and India once again at each other's throats. The idea being to block these tremendously interesting ideas about pipelines, gas pipelines, oil pipelines that can create infrastructure in the Eurasian landmass and begin to lead humanity out of this terrible crisis where we've got the Anglo-American finance structures collapsing. Just 1 or 2 more issues. Of course, Obama is Mr. Paki basher, right? The biggest Paki basher in the world.
He's been at it for a couple of years.
Is Obama. He's always saying, I want to bomb Pakistan and talk to Iran. Notice there is no attack on Iran, and I don't think there will be. And I think that is that's not what they're going to do.
I think that's been put on the back burner in light of exactly the scenario you're painting now. India against Pakistan. Let's go for the big fish and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Perfect.
And I don't know whether you can do all of those at the same time, but certainly India against Pakistan is what's going on right now. Notice also that it's part of this is now revenge against Pakistan. The U.S. policy of daily bombings and significant killings in northwest Pakistan with these predator drones.
With impunity.
And again, ignoring actual groups of armed fighters and instead attacking peaceful villages, wedding parties, and just innocent civilians. This has gotten the Pakistani military very, very angry. And in particular, within the past 6 weeks or so, the entire U.S. supply line into Afghanistan was shut down by the Pakistani military. They said, we can't have any trucks going through the Khyber Pass for several days. They said, it's too dangerous. That was the excuse they gave. In reality, this was a very pointed warning saying, look, U.S., CIA, NATO forces, you can kill our civilians in the northwest frontier, and there's not much we can do about your Predator drones, but guess what? We can cut your entire supply line, and your troops in Afghanistan will wither on the vine because you can't supply them by air. You don't have that much airlift. The supply line goes from I guess it's the port of Karachi, and then up across the entire length, or pretty much the entire length of Pakistan, and they cut that off. And that was, I think, that probably caused some pretty big shockwaves in the Pentagon and the CIA and so forth. So the previous government, right, Musharraf was a big supporter of this Gwadar port, and he was even asked, don't you realize that the U.S. doesn't like the port of Gwadar? It's a military base that can control the exit from Hormuz. It's a way for the Chinese to get oil directly, either much more quickly or even completely by a land pipeline. And Musharraf said, well, we're a sovereign state here, aren't we? And we have to look after our own interests, and we can't take dictation from foreigners. The other side of it is, of course, what's the fate of India in this? India has 200 million Muslims, along with almost 1 billion others. And if you got a war of this serious kind between India and Pakistan under present conditions, that would also lead to a civil war in India. In other words, whatever would happen to Pakistan, I'm sure would be very, very ugly and very, very serious. But India would also be totally crippled and destroyed in the course of this, which is exactly what somebody like Brzezinski wants.
You got it.
Use an ally to destroy an ally as well as an enemy.
It's perfect. Perfect. This is probably exactly what Plan A is. Okay, more conversation coming your way, more analysis, more helpful insights into a very fluid and dynamic and very dangerous situation. We may indeed see a thermonuclear war, but it won't be in the Middle East, as many were suggesting for such a long time. Back in a minute. Okay, back with Webster, and let's continue our conversation. All right, we've done, I think, a very good job of painting the dynamics of the India-Pakistan situation so far.
One or two last points on India-Pakistan. The government of Manmohan Singh, the current Prime Minister of India, they have also gotten very nasty with Russia because as soon as you have India talking about nuclear cooperation with the U.S., the Russians, of course, offered, have nuclear cooperation with us, too. And this guy Singh, for example, he went to Moscow, and they said, come to a banquet, and he refused to go to the banquet. He did a whole series of snubs. He put on a whole diplomatic circus of snubbing and insulting Russia to convey the idea that he was now more or less in the Anglo-American orbit and that he was going to be very, very uncooperative with them. So, again, what should Pakistan do? Pakistan could close a significant military air base that the U.S. is using inside Pakistan, deny landing rights, kick the CIA and the non-governmental organizations out of these northwest frontier, federally administered tribal areas, and also then begin to maybe slow down some of those truck convoys going into Afghanistan, and that would be a way of conveying the most intense displeasure. Some people thought that the U.S. and maybe even India would demand the right of hot pursuit into Pakistan, saying, if we get attacked by terrorists, then we get to chase them back into your country. And, of course, that all of these things are casus belli. They're all ways to start a war. So